Let's spend some time talking about the 5 components of the vertebral subluxation. Now the vertebral subluxation, also the atlas subluxation, the first thing to happen is there's a misalignment or an imbalance between the relationship of the different vertebrae, especially up here at the top. So the spinal kinesiopathology means that the spine is not moving like it should. The vertebrae are not efficiently dealing with gravity as they should. And you recall in an earlier video, just before the downward spiral, the blown fuse, when there's stress, physical, mental, or emotional stress, even chemical stressors, cause that downward spiral. The chiropractor comes along, moves the vertebrae, removes the nerve interference, gets the person back on the healing track. The second part of the subluxation is the neuropathol physiology. And this includes the rubbing, the twisting, the stretching, and the irritation of the delicate nerve tissue. Now, most people think that nerve interference is like somebody comes along and they stand on a garden hose. This compresses the garden hose, and now there's a restriction of the normal water flow. But that's very rare. That's less than 10% of nerve interference cases, neuropathol physiology. And the more common response actually is a facilitative lesion, in which you put your thumb at the edge of the garden hose and now it's like it sprays all over the place. There's too much water pressure. In the spine, it's the same way. There's too much of the nerve signal going out to the various parts of the body. And it's these under the radar little facilitative lesions. That is why everybody can benefit by going to the chiropractor. It's not just a back thing, it's a whole entire body functional thing. The third part to the subluxation is myopathology, myo for muscle. You got death, that happens one time in life. You got taxes maybe a couple times a year. Well, you got gravity coming down 24/7. So your muscles have to constantly deal with this. And they're gonna have more stress, they're gonna have more demand when there's a spinal problem, when there's lack of normal nerve supply, and when the kinesiology, the movement and the alignment of the spine is not functioning correctly. Number 4, histopathology. Discs, ligaments, and other connective tissues don't have a very good blood supply, and because of this, it's very difficult to get nutrients efficiently in to these areas. They rely on sort of a passive sponge-like motion of the tissues of the spine, and this is why the alignment has to begin to restore correctly, and the kinesiology or the movement needs to come back in order to have what? Allow for a proper pumping mechanism once again for the spine to absorb the nutrients. Finally, we have pathophysiology. By the time a person has had spinal imbalance or subluxation for a long, long time, the body has already made bony changes, bony degenerative, compensatory type changes. It begins to stabilize or mend or make the best out of a bad situation. And it goes like this. The bone begins to lip and create bone spurs, same thing with the next bone, and it begins to touch, and then slowly over time the disc space obliterates, the water leaks out of the disc, and now the person is walking around like this. That problem has been going on for many, many years by the time a person gets to that point. Spinal problems do not go away on their own.